When it comes to serious self-defense in a situation that warrants lethal force, a gun of some kind is usually the very best option. Firearms give you the range, power, and precision to conclude the confrontation with a minimum of additional risk to yourself. Unfortunately, guns aren't always an option. Maybe you're in a non-permissive environment. Maybe you are traveling somewhere and had to leave it behind. Maybe you simply can't afford one or just plain don't like them. Whatever the case, there are other options for self-defense. In this video, I'll tell you about them. What follows are 5 great weapons you can use for self-defense when you can't use a gun. All the following weapons we look at are broadly legal in the United States, but I make no guarantees when it comes to other countries. Furthermore, there are plenty of state, county, and city laws that govern what weapons you can and cannot have and under what circumstances. Likewise, some states don't have preemption laws that prevent municipalities, business owners, and the like from instituting laws or other rules that are stricter than the state laws concerning a given weapon. As always, it's up to you to thoroughly research and understand what is and is not legal where you live or where you are traveling. If you get in trouble, telling the authorities, "This guy on YouTube said it was okay," it's not gonna cut it. Do your own due diligence and consult a competent attorney if needed before equipping yourself with any of the following as part of your self-defense plan. An often neglected category of self-defense implement is blunt weapons. Variously referred to as impact tools or sometimes just clubs, these devices include rigid, flexible, fixed, and telescoping weapons like collapsing batons, saps, blackjacks, and more. Compared to going hands-on, all of these weapons can provide greater reach, which might make the difference when keeping an attacker at arm's length. Whatever the design, all of them are capable of delivering powerful and potentially bone-crushing blows. This is especially likely in the case of lengthy telescopic batons or flexible tools like saps and blackjacks that have a weighted head. Another great asset for a civilian self-defender is the fact that, with skill and good judgment, they can be used in both a less lethal and a lethal capacity. Strikes to the body or limbs, specifically targeting large muscle groups, rarely inflict lethal damage, even when you're swinging for the fences. Conversely, strikes to the head and neck can inflict major wounds that are rapidly incapacitating. There is definitely a sliding scale of efficiency when it comes to all these weapons, though bigger, longer options provide much greater impact, standoff, and mechanical advantage. But they are much harder to carry concealed or discreetly. Surprisingly enough, the more effective compact options, as exemplified by saps and blackjacks, tend to be more heavily regulated compared to the telescopic batons, which are so commonly seen on the belts of police officers these days. Nonetheless, these weapons can be a fine option for folks who are athletic or already have a foundation of hand-to-hand skills. Knives have been arguably the most ubiquitous tool used by mankind. Big or small, knives are great for handling countless utilitarian tasks, and they also make vicious and decisive close-quarter weapons. Even the humblest, simplest, and cheapest knife can prove devastating when wielded with intent. A sharpened piece of metal is truly elementary among all the other tools on this list, but it's no less effective. Knives are also effective and very intimidating, even when wielded by people without considerable training in using them. Driving the point or edge into an attacker forcefully is all it takes to start doing damage and, hopefully, ending the attack. Something else to consider is that most of us prepared citizens won't leave the house without a knife at all. Everyone has a favorite pocket knife, after all, and that's a great thing considering our basic state of readiness. Small folding and fixed blade knives are also very easy to carry and very easy to hide, something that can be advantageous in a wide variety of circumstances. But for self-defense, the disadvantages of knives are just as numerous. They are by nature a truly close-quarters weapon, and if you can bring one to bear, the bad guys can also lay hands on you. Knives are also heavily regulated in most places, especially larger metropolitan areas. Bans on features, blade length, and more are common. Navigating the minefield of knife laws throughout the country is often more challenging than doing the same with gun laws. And as expected, there are many restricted areas where you cannot carry any knife of any kind, including government buildings, courthouses, the secured areas of airports, and more. That said, clever defenders would be smart to remember that knives are absolutely everywhere. You can always come up with some kind of portable cutting edge, even if it's a box cutter or common kitchen knife. We've got 3 more alternative self-defense weapons to check out in this video. Before we move on to the next one, go ahead and click like and subscribe if you are enjoying this video. Those 2 clicks mean the world to our channel, and by doing so, you'll get notified the next time we post a new video. Thanks in advance! Now let's get back to it. Certainly the most spectacular option on our list, tasers have become a mainstay in law enforcement use as an intermediary step on the use of force continuum. Although they are commonly described as non-lethal, the proper term for tasers is less lethal, meaning less likely to be lethal when used properly under most circumstances. Most viewers will already know the basics concerning the function of these devices. When the firing stud is pressed or the trigger is pulled, a pair of probes trailing wires are launched. When embedded in the target, high voltage electricity flows through the wires and completes a circuit. This naturally inflicts a considerable amount of pain, but more importantly, causes major muscle groups in the body to lock up, hopefully immobilizing the attacker. Modern civilian legal tasers are small enough to be easily portable and concealable, and they are permitted in most jurisdictions. Unlike law enforcement models, civilian tasers are designed for a lengthy discharge, usually 30 seconds at a stretch. In practice, this is intended to give a defender time to set the device down and then run away, while the bad guy is taking the ride and flopping around on the pavement. It's good technology when it works, but unfortunately, tasers are anything but foolproof. If a probe misses or gets dislodged, it won't work at all. Also worrying is the fact that the vast majority of models only provide for a single shot before a cumbersome reload process is required. Advanced and very expensive models will give you just 2. The biggest advantage with the taser is that it provides plenty of range, 15 feet or a little longer in most cases. Ultimately, tasers are an effective, but still somewhat limited option for serious self-defense. An emergent and, for civilian use, new category of self-defense weapons is projectile launchers, sometimes called ball launchers. These tools are exactly what you would expect. Basically, they shoot paintball-like projectiles and can choose from a variety of payloads. Made by various manufacturers like Sabre, Salt Supply, Byrna, and others, many such devices handle and look very much like an oversized pistol. Some are more innocuous, appearing as a bulky flashlight-like device. A few even look like rifles or airsoft guns, and could be mistaken for real steel if not for the garish paint scheme. But then again, considering the preponderance of wild and crazy colors on live guns these days, maybe that's a poor comparison. Anyway, all of these projectile launchers are powered by compressed gas, usually CO2, but sometimes nitrogen. Feeding from fixed tubular or detachable box magazines, or, for professional crowd control models, big paintball hoppers, in use, they are simplicity itself. Pull the trigger, and a projectile is fired. Accuracy is surprisingly decent, with many designs being capable of good accuracy out to 30 feet and considerably beyond. What you are firing matters just as much as getting a good hit, though solid rubber impact rounds will inflict considerable pain and potentially minor injury. The payload of choice in most situations, though, will be pepper balls. Full of a potent OC mixture, the use of these projectiles is a great way to inflict blinding pain on a distant attacker with very little risk of permanent injury or cross-contamination. The biggest drawback with launchers of this type is that you have absolutely no recourse for employing lethal force on them. If the attacker is not deterred or doesn't give up, you are indeed basically pelting someone with a glorified paintball gun. The last self-defense option on our list also happens to be one of the best, uniformly. Often shunned by gun guys, no one should leave the house without pepper spray. More than any other implement you might carry, pepper spray, used judiciously, has the highest chance of stopping a fight before it starts, and uniquely almost never occupies the same legal territory as more lethal weapons. Although you cannot spray people with it wantonly or without good reason, pepper spray is seen as almost family-friendly in the eyes of the law. It inflicts considerable pain, but almost never causes lasting injury or other problems. That said, in both law enforcement and civilian use, good pepper spray is proven over and over again to take the fight out of people with a good application. Assuming the fight does go on, the searing pain, involuntary closure of the eyes, coughing, shortness of breath, and other effects can give a defender a significant edge over their attacker. Plus, choosing a stream-style model gives you a lot more range to work with than a club or other close-quarters weapon. 10 foot or a little farther out of a pocket-sized canister is entirely possible. Even the very best pepper spray dispensers are extremely affordable, can go virtually everywhere, and are legal almost everywhere. Civilian defenders must have a defensive measure that occupies the space between bad language and gunfire, and it simply does not get any better than pepper spray. My very favorite brand is made by Palm, but Saber Red is another great product. Get it? Carry it! No exceptions. That covers it for the best alternative self-defense weapons to get when you can't have a gun. Knives, impact weapons, and ranged options like projectile launchers, tasers, and pepper spray. There's no excuse for going unarmed just because you can't or don't have a firearm. Swing by the comments and let me know which intermediate option you'd prefer for self-defense, taser or pepper spray. Also, before you go, do make sure to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss out on even a single upcoming vid here on All About Survival. Thanks so much for watching today, and I look forward to catching you in the next one. Take care.